Hello and welcome to Transitions. I'm your host, Antoinette Zloty. Today's topic is organ donation. The decision to be a donor is one that many people have dealt with. Some people have been fortunate to receive the gift of life. Today I'm joined by Glenda Peebles, who is a living kidney donor, Cheryl Siemens, a two-time living donor recipient, and Dr. Siddiqui, who is a physician with Transplant Manitoba Gift of Life. Welcome, Glenda and Cheryl, to Transitions.
Thank you. Thank you. It's good to be here.
Oh, well, that's really good. Nice to hear. So tell us a little bit about your story.
Well, my story is it'll be 6 years this July that I've donated to my sister Cheryl. She is my second oldest sister, and we come from a family of 10. So when she came down with kidney disease, I wasn't aware of it right away. I work in the Manitoba Renal Program myself. She told me because she thought I had already knew that she was in our program, but she was in the renal clinic. She wasn't on dialysis yet. So that's kind of how it came about with her. So when we found out that she had kidney disease, my sister and I, we decided that, okay, well, you know, we have to do something. It wasn't a choice. It was almost like, okay, we have to do something because she's going to need a kidney. And I knew how things working in dialysis. I knew she needed help. So for us, for myself, the transplant team started working us up together, my sister and I. She was actually a better match than I was, but they still continued to work us up at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it happened that my sister that was getting worked up with us had another medical condition, so she couldn't go forward. So it was myself. So when we went forward on the transplant list, I couldn't donate to her directly. So I said, well, what can we do then? So the Transplant Manitoba talked to her about the paired exchange program. So I knew what that was. She didn't, so one of the doctors explained what happens. What happens is I still get worked up, but we're paired together. So, and then we go in the system, and somewhere out there through Canada, there could be a pair that could be a match for us. So I would, if there was a paired match, I would donate to that person's person, and their person would donate to my sister. That's how the paired exchange program worked.
I see.
But we didn't. So we didn't end up with a match. We were on that paired exchange program for 1.5 years. And then we got a call, Transplant Manitoba got a call. My coordinator called me and told me that I could directly donate to her. Something about the antibodies in her system that prevented me from donating to her were no longer there.
Oh, that's good.
So that's what happened. And then it ended up that we did the surgery in July. So it went really good. Things went smoothly, although I kept thinking that the other shoe was going to fall, something else was going to happen, and it was going to fall apart, but it didn't. So after the transplant, they had the surgery on a Thursday, and I was discharged on a Saturday. So, and I was already at home.
Wow, that was very quick. So did you have to take some medications to get yourself ready for the transplant, or?
No, they do a lot of tests for you to make sure that you're healthy enough to donate. There's no underlying anything else that could prevent you from donating. So they do all that. The only thing that happened with me was that the last Mantoux I had was positive. So that meant that I had to be treated for that. So I went on a 3-month treatment program. So after that, then we were okay to go forward with a transplant.
And what about after? Are you having to take any meds or do any precautionary things?
What my nephrologist told me was that just continue living the way as you were before. Things did change for me in a sense where I did have some. I lacked emotional support, I guess, because those things kind of hit me when I got home. I wasn't really prepared for something like that. Even though they give you all this information and they give you PowerPoint presentations to watch and things like that, you don't know what's going to happen till it happens to you.
Oh, I see.
And that's kind of what happened to me. But my family was there for me, and it's just something that I had to work through myself. And I was having phantom pain, which was something that, again, people sort of never experienced, I guess, that did the donation. I'm not sure. So, yeah, but it was everything else after that was good, and it all worked out good.
That's very good. And your sister is forever grateful.
She is she's healthy.
So, yes, that's great. Was she on dialysis before she got the
She was on
transplant
dialysis for almost 2 years before
Yeah.
we were able to do the transplant.
And then now being free of dialysis, because that's at least, twice a week, isn't it?
Hers
Usually?
was 3 times.
3 times,
Yes, 3 times
and
a week.
long hours, isn't it?
Yes. She would go for 4 hours at a time, so she would be there for a long time. That was kind of her life for almost 2 years. Yeah.
So that's wonderful that you were able to do that.
Yes.
So great.
Yeah.
And we'll talk some more. And how about yourself? You want to tell us about your story?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I was diagnosed with a rare kidney disease when I was about 11 months old.
Oh,
It's called cystinosis.
Oh, okay.
And so this is a kidney disease that's rare, so there's no cure for it, unfortunately. So when I was 11, I required my first transplant as I was going through kidney failure. And my parents were tested. They were both a match. My dad stepped forward and said, you gave birth to the children, so I want to give our daughter a kidney. And so we had our kidney in a transplant. I had my kidney transplant in 97, and when I was 11, everything went really well. My father did well, and I did well, and I can relate, Glenda. I was out of the hospital within 3 days, and my father was out of the hospital within 5 days. It's pretty incredible how quickly you can heal. There's still the sort of, I guess, incubation or period where you have to stay away from germs. So it was about 8 weeks. So then I returned to school, and I went through elementary school and high school with a lot more energy, feeling a lot healthier to be able to do the physical things that I was too tired to do while I was going through kidney failure. And unfortunately, because it is chronic, my body is almost always being attacked by my kidney. What happens is the amino acid cysteine gets built up at a molecular or cellular level, and it becomes compounded and crystallized. So those crystals begin to attack the tubules and eventually deteriorate the kidney so bad that it doesn't work any longer. And so it did fail again. My body began to build up toxic levels of the cysteine, and I required another kidney. When I was younger, I avoided dialysis, but when I was in need of my second transplant and going through kidney failure again at the age of 31, I wasn't so fortunate. I did have to go on dialysis for about 8 months. So it wasn't a very long time. It is hard because it is 3 times a week. And when you're 31, it's kind of like a Friday night. All right, going to dialysis
This-
treatments.
Aw,
But I made the best of it and created some friendships at St. Boniface where I had my dialysis treatments
Yeah.
and just tried to see the positive of it. And then my brother and sister were getting tested to see who's a potential donor. And they were both matches, but my brother was the better match. Almost a perfect match, you might say. And so he was the one that stepped forward and gave me a kidney for the second time at the age of 31. So I was very fortunate to be able to have 2 family members donate their kidneys to me. And so after that, we both did really well. The second time, I had support to my parents. My brother and I stayed with my parents for about 3 or 4 weeks, and then he returned to Calgary. He had to fly in from Calgary to donate. And so he flew back home, and he's been doing well ever since. That was 4 years ago, in 2016. And I'm doing really well. And thanks to sort of those supports as well as the transplant, I'm able to rock climb and weight train again, things that I was doing before my kidney failed in my adult years. So I'm back to those activities, and we're both still doing really well, and I'm very grateful for my situation.
that is just amazing. So, would you have any advice for family members out there who might be even considering making that change in their lives to give the gift either within their family or outside of their family?
Ever since our transplant, I'm always advocating to sign up for life. So with Transplant Manitoba, they have a signupforlife.ca. So anybody and everybody who knows me, I'm always sign up for life. You can't take those organs with you.
Oh.
You know, you need to be able to help somebody. Somebody will, be able to benefit from that.
That's wonderful. That's great. And how about yourself?
Yes, I definitely agree. I'm the
Yeah,
same way.
same
Very
way?
an
Yeah.
advocate for the sign up for life.
Yeah.
The blue cards, donor cards don't work anymore. But I will say that it might not necessarily affect someone directly, but it makes the world of difference for someone who receives an organ donation and improves the quality of their life so much so. It's dramatic. It's a dramatic difference. So I could speak to that aspect and say you're changing someone's life by being an organ donor.
Thank you. Thank you. And thanks so much. We will be back after a short break. When we come back, we will be joined by Dr. Siddiqui. And so stay with us, folks.